Celtic have a lot to look forward to over the coming weeks as we play in a Scottish Cup semi-final this Sunday against St Johnstone, as well as being 1 point away to officially be crowned champions of the SPFL. In today's video, we will go over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours, which will include the build-up to this weekend's match. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Former Liverpool midfielder Didi Hamann believes Danny Ings could rejuvenate his career at Celtic, touting the Scottish champions as an ideal destination for the West Ham striker this summer. Ings, 31, has struggled for game time at the London club, making just a handful of appearances in recent months. The striker has made 15 appearances in the Premier League, and his deal at the London Stadium is up this summer, pathing the way for Celtic to sign him on a free. Hamann is convinced a switch to Parkhead could give the former Liverpool forward a fresh start. Hamann had this to say. Could Danny Ings be a success at Celtic? Absolutely. His playing time at West Ham has been restricted, and I think Celtic would be a great option for him, he told Poker Firma. The standard of football is not quite as high as the Premier League, and I think he could get a new lease of life up there. He will certainly be on the radar of Celtic and maybe Rangers because he has a proven record of putting the ball into the net. If you make chances for him, he will show you where the goal is for sure, Hamann concluded. Brendan Rodgers, who signed Ings for Liverpool in 2015, is already familiar with the striker's talents. Back in 2020, the former Leicester boss suggested that the then Southampton striker should be in with a chance to get a call-up to the international squad, although that was 5 years ago now. With the Celtic boss openly seeking attacking reinforcements this summer, Ings could become a viable option as the Hoops look to bolster their firepower ahead of another European campaign. However, it's not likely that Ings fits the profile for Rodgers. Celtic in recent years have tended to sign younger guys with high potential and international experience, but there have been a few exceptions. Now, for the main story, as Paul Hartley believes, Celtic should make tying down Brendan Rodgers to a new deal their top priority this summer. Rodgers, in his second spell in charge at Parkhead, has already all but secured another Premiership title and is eyeing a domestic treble. When he returned to the club 2 summers ago, the manager made clear he was committed for 3 years, the length of his contract. He's about to enter his final 12 months on his deal, and despite some speculating that he could be away in the summer, the manager has said he'll be in the dugout unless Dermot Desmond says otherwise. However, former Celtic midfielder Hartley reckons the board should act now to extend that stay and send a message of stability and ambition. Hartley had this to say. I think so. He's box office. That's what we need here. We need to always try and talk our game up, and then we've got to have the best managers possible for that. So I think it would be really important that if they could keep him, then it's good for everybody, Celtic and Scottish football. He's got a good team there. He knows how to win, going for another treble again. So I think it's really important that they try and tie him down. There's a lot of eyebrows raised, obviously, about how he left the first time, but since he's come back, he's shown that quality that he is as a manager. He did say that he'd be here for the 3 years, but if they could try and keep him longer than that, I think it'd be a great bit of business for the club and for Scottish football also, Hartley concluded. There is an element of distrust around the manager, given how he left last time, but he's made it crystal clear that he doesn't plan on going anywhere and is eyeing up a shake-up in the squad in the summer. With some complacency stepping in, Rodgers said that he'll be making some big changes to the squad in the summer transfer window. That's a sign of a man in for the long haul, so get that contract offer on the table, Celtic. Premiership title needing just a single point from their remaining 5 fixtures to officially wrap it up. The most likely scene for that to happen is Tannadice a week on Saturday, where Brendan Rodgers' side take on Dundee United in a 12:30pm kickoff. But while most fans expect the Hoops to get the job done in Tayside, there's a scenario, albeit a slim one, where Celtic could end up clinching the title at Ibrox in the final Glasgow derby of the season. Dundee United have already proven they can be stubborn opponents. Back in December, they held Celtic to a goalless draw at Tannadice, frustrating the league leaders with a well-drilled and disciplined performance. If they managed to go one better and take all 3 points, it would delay Celtic's coronation for at least another week. That result, combined with Rangers beating St Mirren at Ibrox on the same day, would see the gap narrowed slightly and tee up the May 4th derby, with something still technically on the line. Celtic would still only need a draw at Ibrox to seal the title, and doing so on their rivals' patch would be a bold statement. However, not even that would be guaranteed, considering our last 2 outings against the perennial runners-up have ended in defeat for Celtic. Some fans would relish that possibility. Winning the league at Ibrox would undoubtedly go down in folklore, especially after a season where Celtic have had to grind and graft to stay ahead. Others, however, would prefer the job done as soon as possible. The smart money remains on Celtic taking care of business this weekend at Tannadice and removing all doubt. But football has a funny way of throwing up unexpected narratives. And while it's a long shot, the chance to clinch the title at Ibrox is still on the table. The final news on this video, the SPFL have released the post-split fixtures, and Celtic fans now know exactly when and where their club can clinch the Premiership title. The Hoops will travel to Tannadice on Saturday, April 26 to face Dundee United in the first of their final 5 league matches. Kick-off is set for 12:30 p.m. and it could be a historic afternoon for Brendan Rodgers' side. With a 15-point lead and a vastly superior goal difference, Celtic need just a single point to be officially crowned champions. Should they get the job done on Tayside, it will cap off a dominant league campaign with 4 matches still to play. Next up is the final Glasgow derby of the season, scheduled for Sunday, May 4th at Ibrox with a midday kick-off. The fixture was a key consideration in discussions with Police Scotland and broadcasters, and its timing confirms the authorities have settled on a plan to manage the high-profile clash. Celtic will then return to Parkhead on Saturday, May 10th to take on Hibernian in a 3 p.m. kick-off, followed by a midweek trip to Pittodrie to face Aberdeen on Wednesday, May 14th, 7:45 p.m. The final league match will see the champions return home to play St Mirren on Saturday, May 17th, again at 12:30 p.m, which will be Trophy Day. With the title within reach, attention also turns to this weekend's Scottish Cup semi-final against St Johnstone. A win at Hampden would book Celtic's place in the final and keep their treble hopes alive. After that, the focus will move to Tannadice, where one more result will confirm what has long felt inevitable. Celtic, once again, champions of Scotland. Lastly, Charlie Mulgrew has opened up about his brief foray into football management and why he swiftly realised it wasn't the career path for him. The former Celtic defender took charge of Celtic Hearts this winter but lasted just 11 games in the dugout before calling time on his first managerial post. Now, speaking on open goal, Mulgrew admits the role wasn't what he expected. This is what Mulgrew had to say. It's weird because you spend the last 5-7 years of your football career starting to plan, think what you want to do, until you're actually in it and doing it, you don't know what you're getting yourself in for. The truth is, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy all of it. It was only part-time, so I think to myself, you go into a career and you want to get to the best. You want to go as high as you can. So I think if I'd gone full-time, how would I feel? I couldn't think of anything worse now than becoming a full-time manager. Mulgrew had spent time around some top bosses in the lead-up to taking the Celtic job, including a spell observing Brendan Rodgers at Celtic's Lennoxtown base. But for all the experience gathered, it didn't ignite the passion needed to pursue life in the dugout full-time. Before making the move to management, he commonly appeared on Out TVs. He was a pundit for Premier Sports and the BBC, while also appearing on Clyde One, SSB and Cy Ferry's Open Goal podcast. He seemed to be doing well making these appearances, and maybe he's realised that was more suited to him. The former Celtic defender speaks really well about the game and comes across as really knowledgeable, so it was surprising not to see him succeed. Only time will tell whether he takes a step back into the dugout or watches the game from afar. What are your thoughts on these? Let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.